Good morning and welcome to Behind the Screen. I am Jam. This is a show where we hang out and we talk about games. We talk about things that are beautiful. We talk about role-playing games, board games, card games, miniature games, that sort of thing. And today we're starting a series that we're kind of talking uh, about some of the more philosophical side of things of gaming. Much like my beauty episodes that I did earlier, so I'm kind of excited about this. And this is one that I was going to talk about when we're talking about gaming as a cure for postmodernism, and just took some time. So we're kicking this off as our first of the philosophy of gaming series. But it's good to see everybody this morning. Good morning to Padre and John Doom. Always good to chat with you guys. So we're gonna start with Tolkien. Tolkien said in On Fairy Stories that one of the main benefits of fairy tales, they provide escape. Escape not as a prisoner fleeing from a battlefield, or sorry, a coward fleeing from a battlefield, as a prisoner looking outside his window and hoping for and imagining for a better life. Now, if you have followed Iconic Production at all, you know that this quote is very important to me. It worked its way into an article that I've written for a book called Finding the Golden Key, which is coming out hopefully in 2025, as well as was the source of a lot of our beauty episodes. And I felt like today would be a good day to talk about role-playing as refuge, as escapism, as a place where we can leave our cares and our burdens and our anxiety behind and sit around the table as friends. Now, if you're like me, your gaming group has people of a variety of different walks of life, viewpoints, things that are important to them. And there are certain times of year where those differences come to the forefront, and based off the people who are putting forth the news, they seem to make it seem as if those are the only things that matter. For those of you who are in the US, it's November 5th. It's voting day. And for the last season, it's like Christmas. Election season grows every year. This very much us versus them mentality has been pervasive, and been very pervasive, not just in the media and in the news, online discussions, but in the gaming sphere. I would not recommend going on Twitter, but you can't go on Twitter without seeing that some creators are on one side of the aisle, some creators are on the other side of the aisle, and interestingly enough, they hate the other side. Maybe that's disingenuous of me, but there is a lot of vitriol. And yes, John Doom, it is Guy Fawkes Day, and after my game tonight, I will be celebrating by watching V for Vendetta and then burning a Guy Fawkes effigy, as I do fairly regularly on the 5th of November, because remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason and plot. I see of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgotten. But that is neither here nor there. That's not really what I'm talking about. Don't take that away from this video, although it is a very catchy rhyme. It is true, election season starts the day after the previous election season. It's like Christmas, Padre. It starts sometime in August and then ends before Thanksgiving, because then they've got to transition into Valentine's Day. So why am I bringing all of this up? Well, here's the thing, and here's something I truly believe about all humans, but in specific gamers. We have far more in common with each other than we don't. The people at my game tables, I have some people that agree with me ideologically on certain political things. I have people who are far to the left of me. I have people who are far to the right of me. was it jokers to my left, clowns to my right, if I remember how the song goes. And here's the thing, when they come to the game table, we're there to hang out, we're there to escape, we're there to see the world in a different way, and to see to have some enjoyment and some entertainment and some escapism that allows us to set aside our anxiety, our fears, our disagreements. Because here's the thing, at your gaming table, I guarantee you have far more in common with those people than you have not. And I think that's important. All of my gaming groups have decided that on Tuesday night, or actually this whole week, we're not going to discuss anything political. We're just going to show up, and we're going to roll dice, and we're going to play Hyperborea, and we're going to play Vendom. If there's any trauma that comes up, it will be Game Master derived, and not stuff that we kind of bring in from the outside. I think that's one of the beautiful things about gaming. There's a lot of comments of how gatekeeping and how the early days of gaming were. And I think those are mostly made by people who weren't even alive during the early days of gaming. I'm not saying that there were not bad seeds in the gaming community in the early days, but I can tell you from experience, I was desperate to get 4 other people together who liked role-playing games so that we could play role-playing games. It did not matter who you were. If you wanted to play games, you were at our tables. Whenever I moved to a new city, the first thing I did was go to a game store, because I knew that people there I would have in common, and they would welcome me in. It happened when I went to college. It happened when I moved to Colorado. It happened when I moved to Texas. There should be refuges in our lives where we can get together with friends who we may not agree with on everything, especially politically. And that shouldn't matter, because they're family, they're congregants, they're gamers at the table with us. Now, I'm not saying don't discuss politics at your games or even in your games, because fairy tales and gaming allow us to look at things in a different way. They're a lens through which we can see the world. But, one, I would say, make sure your table knows if you're going to do something like that. Some tables want to remain apolitical, which is fine. Some tables want to embrace one side or the other of the aisle, which is always funny to me, because we talk about left and right, and that really comes from the French Revolution, right? Who supported the monarchists sat on the right-hand side of the assembly, and those who supported anti-monarchism sat on the left. So it's very weird to me. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So, we need refuges. We need places where we can come together and remember that no matter what our political allegiances are, we're all still human. And I truly believe that for most people, when it comes to politics, they want what is best for the most of us. And we just have different ways of viewing that. I was asked one time when I presented that case, is this tolerant person in the room with you? God, I hope so. I was not always this enthralled with beauty or love of fellow man. In my younger days, I was a very vocal and angry person. And I know I hurt people because of that. And I have come to see the gaming table as one of life's many refuges where we can escape from the narrative in the world that says it's us versus them. And everyone who sits around the gaming table is there for the same thing. They're there to roll dice, have fun, maybe tell a story, maybe randomly encounter some things, depending on how you plan your games. And fellowship with friends. I think especially today, we could all do with a lot less this, a lot more of this. So, if you're wondering what to do with your Tuesday night on election night, invite some friends over. Play a board game. Play some Magic. Throw out some miniatures on the table. Or, like my group is doing, journey into another world in the safety and comfort of your gaming table with friends who their most important thing are. They are your friends. So, I've got some Christmas discussions to throw down here with people in my chat. All right, Padre. No, we don't keep Christmas in our hearts all year long. We definitely celebrate it through the Advent and then Candlemas season. That is the point of the calendar. And that I live with two people, my wife and son, who would like to keep Christmas in their hearts all year long. And I'm called a Grinch because I maintain that December 1st is the start of the Christmas season. I like the liturgical calendar a lot. John Doom, you sent me that, and that was brilliant. This is the season where I'm allowed vague threats about Santa to do 80% of my parenting for me. It's true. Santa taught the NSA. Fantastic. Tink, life pro tip. Wrap empty boxes and put them under the tree, and every time your kid acts up, throw one in the fireplace. Tink, I hope you've done that. That is traumatic, and I'm going to go share that with Brad, like, right now. Tink says she's felt pretty welcome by all gamers at different tables. All you have to have in common is the want to play and have fun. Yes, and you and I have had an interesting discussion on how much similarity there is between the gaming hobby and the indie music scene, where it's like, wait, you like this obscure thing that I like? We are now best friends forever. Yeah. That's a good point, John Doom. The daily tribalism nonsense. I don't actually think most of us would care as much, save for two things. One, we have access to more data. I won't say information because... we'll say more information, not data, because data implies a neutrality that information does not. Being thrown at us, we as individuals have more information about current events in the world than any king or ruler of a nation has in the history of the world. We don't even have it curated for us. We have it guided or echo chambered for us. And I think that an overload of information, especially information that is coming from very partisan or biased voices, is overwhelming and causes anxiety in us. And then on top of that, there are those who want to capitalize on the us versus them tribalism to maintain their power bases. And so I think we've just seen that continually to ramp up, because if you can vilify the other side, you can mobilize your side. Padre, it's true. There are a few bad seeds, and I think the thing is to remember that they are exceptions, not the rule. I think, especially online, where the more negative stories get pushed and talked about and fabricated in some cases, it's easy to think that they are ruining it for everybody. But then I just have to remind myself, one, the number of people who are online talking about games compared to the people who are just playing games minuscule. Most gamers don't even get online to talk about their games. And then a lot of people are doing things specifically to get traffic to their page or their site or their forum or their account. And they're highlighting and making it sound worse than it really is. There is a term called progressophobia, which is the idea that if we acknowledge that we have made progress, we would somehow lose all momentum for our cause or for our group. And that's ridiculous. Listen, I hummed Jingle Bells because I was watching The Nightmare Before Christmas, which is an acceptable Halloween movie. Tink. History of the World, Part 1. It is good to be the king. I bring you these 10 commandments. So that's it. That's a little short thing. I wish you all the best during what seems to be a promise to be a very anxiety-ridden and angry season in American politics. I voted, and now I'm prepping for a game tonight, and I wish you all peace and fellowship and refuge and escape this election season. And I hope that you can provide that for some of your friends and family and loved ones in your life. It is Happy Thanksgiving season, my friend, and I, for one, am very thankful to have John Doom in my life. Cheers, buddy. So that's it. And again, this will be another 1 week episode, or one episode this week, because I am traveling to Colorado with my son and best friend. We're doing a guys weekend to kind of celebrate the fact that my son is growing up into a young man, and my best friend's his godfather. So I am going to be introducing him. I asked Zane, what do you want to do with your Uncle Brad while we're in Colorado? And he's like, I want you to teach him Deadlands. So I'm traveling all the way to Colorado to run Deadlands for my best friend and my son up at a cabin. And it's going to be amazing. So, until next time, please stay safe, stay healthy, stay gaming. I'm JM, this has been Behind the Screen, and I will see you all next week for more Behind the Screen and continuing our philosophy and gaming discussions. Till then, have a good one, everybody.